So you're thinking to yourself, that was easy. Everything's finished. It sounds awesome. And then you get an email from your client. The client says, hey, we got some more parts we want to add to this. Well, that offers you a new opportunity to learn something here. So let's import some more MIDI here. So we go to File, we go to Import, we go to MIDI. We can also use the key command, which would be Option Command I on a Mac, Alt Control I on a PC. Navigate back to the folder, then open up Part 2. And so it brings up the import MIDI options again. This time we are just going to import it to our clips list. So it takes away our options. Let's just click OK. And then over here on the right side, I can see my clips list. I'm going to make this a little bit wider so I can see what's happening. And when you import something into your clips list, it's automatically going to highlight it. So I have these two things called lead 1 and lead 2. And I want to import these onto tracks. So let's review what we've done so far. When we did our initial import, we imported the MIDI and we had it generate instrument tracks, which makes the most sense. We can also see them in our tracks list over here on the left side, indicated by the little orange keyboard. Remember from the MIDI overview that an instrument track is essentially the combination of an auxiliary track or an aux track and a MIDI track together. So what it allows you to do is, like a MIDI track, it allows you to store MIDI data. Like an aux track, it has an audio input. It can pass audio, but it cannot store audio. And then the third thing is you can put inserts on it, which allows us to put instruments there. So there is an antiquated way to do this. So let's do this just so you can get a sense of it and understand the questions on the test. So I'm going to create 2 new tracks. So I'll go to Track and New, or I can hit Command-Shift-N on a Mac, Control-Shift-N on a PC. Then I'm going to create 2 tracks, and I'm going to make MIDI tracks. And then I'm going to create 2 more tracks. So I can hit the plus over on the right side of the dialog box, and then it creates a new lane. And then I'm going to create 2 stereo auxiliary tracks, or aux inputs. Also make note that MIDI tracks are measured in ticks and aux tracks and samples. So my MIDI tracks, I'm just going to call lead underscore. And because I have 2 of them, it's going to label them 1 and 2. And then I'm going to have 2 aux tracks, and I'm going to call this lead Roman numeral 6, and then underscore. And then it will label those 1 and 2. Seems weird. Don't worry about why. Just title it like that. Then hit create. So now I have my 2 MIDI tracks, and you can see on the MIDI tracks, I don't have any means to put plugins on it because remember, MIDI tracks can only hold MIDI. That's all they can do. And then they can route an output to a different track. So let's take these MIDI files that we imported in and drag those onto those tracks. So the next thing that I would have to do is I'd have to create an output and send them into the input of these other tracks. So I don't really have a way to send this out yet. So what I want to do is I want to create 2 new instances of Xpand on these other tracks here. So I'm going to multi-channel plugin. I'm going to go to Instrument. I'm going to go to Xpand 2. Then I'll create another instance of this down here, Xpand 2. And on this first one, and on leads 6.1, I'm going to go to my librarian, go to category 11, soft leads, and then to plugin preset +13, endurance. Then on the track lead 6_2, I want to go to preset category number 6, polysynths, and preset number +7, OK Chorale. Then now, because I have these instruments here, if I go back to my MIDI tracks where it says none for my output, now I can send these into the input of the other ones. So this first lead track, I'm going to send out to the output lead 6-1, go to individual targets, expand, and then just put it on channel 1. Then on the second one, where it says none for my output, I'm going to go to lead Roman numeral 6_2, individual targets, expand instance 9, and then I am going to go to channel 1 of that. So now we can play it. So now I can see that I have some kind of lead parts here. As you can see, this is kind of an inconvenient way to do it. It's a much better plan to use the integrated tracks, the instrument tracks, but you can use it with the combination of a MIDI track going into the input of an instrument on an auxiliary track. So the things to remember for the test is MIDI tracks can only store MIDI, and they need to be used in combination with an auxiliary track. Is there any good reason to do this? I can't see one, but you need to know it for the test. And then the last thing you need to know is the symbols. So the instrument track is the keyboard, the MIDI connector is for the MIDI track, and then the green down arrow is for the aux track.